Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
Have you ever been satisfied with something and then found out God had something even better for you? When I was about to turn 24, I finally felt satisfied with my singleness. I'd given up on dating altogether and was used to doing things for myself. I had 3 jobs and enjoyed my freedom. But it was that third job that came with a surprise from God. I started playing the piano for a church in New Orleans, and they decided I was just the right girl for their beloved Mr. Scott. The whole church got us together, but that's a story for another day. When God visited Abraham in Genesis 17, he hadn't heard from the Lord in more than 13 years. God had promised him a son. At this point, Abraham probably figured his 13-year-old Ishmael was it. He'd had a son. He'd helped God out to fulfill his promise. Things hadn't worked out as neatly as he thought they would, but he had an heir. He was satisfied. But at this point, God surprised him. He changed Abraham's wife's name to Sarah, named her as a co-heir to this promise. She would be the mother of this promised child, Sarah, the woman who was old enough to be a great-grandmother or even a great-great-grandmother. God said, "I will bless her and also give you a son by her. Then I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be from her." The promise was the same as Abraham's. Talk about impossible. It was ludicrous, laughable. In fact, Abraham fell on his face like before, but this time it was probably more like rolling on the floor kind of laughter than worship. "Okay, God, yes, you're almighty, but have you seen my Sarah? Do you remember how old she is? You've had your little joke. Let's work with what we've got here instead of talking about the impossibilities. Let's talk about Ishmael. I want so much for him to live in obedience before you and believe your promises." But God immediately shut the door on that line of thought. He said, "No, Sarah your wife will bear you a son, and you shall call his name Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his descendants after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard you. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. He shall beget 12 princes, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac." Not Ishmael, Isaac. I know you love Ishmael, and he'll be blessed too, but Isaac is the one the promises will go to. He is my special promise to you. And then do you notice what God adds here? My covenant I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah shall bear to you at this time next year. Not only had God given the promised child a specific name, Isaac, laughter, how appropriate, but he gives a time frame for the promise. After so many years of waiting, not another year would go by before they would hold that promise in their arms. This would really happen. Is there a promise you've been waiting for God to fulfill? How would you feel if you heard, "this time next year"? In fact, how would you like to grow between now and next year? How have you grown spiritually in the last year? What will this time next year bring for you?
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through His Word. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thank you for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.